JetX nozzle. So we're going to pull it apart and show you what to do if it's not working properly and how to clean it and how to check it. So it's much easier if you've got a vise to work with. Just some basic tools: a hammer, a shifter, a punch. These are really good. I'm going to get some of these in, so these are good for cleaning out the spindles. And then you've just got your tip cleaner as well for cleaning the jets out. So first thing is you either want to put this in a vise on the base and then use a shifter, make sure it fits nice on the top, and just loosen the top off. Then I'll take it out of the vise, set it sideways, spin the top off, and then that comes out, and then the spindle comes out. So there's two different types of spindles, so I'll show you both of them. There's that one, and then we'll open this one up so I can show you inside this one as well. It might have a different spindle in it. This one's been rounded off a little bit at the top. Unscrew this one. Okay, good. So they're the they're the two types of turbine kits that you'll find in the JetX. So basically, the first thing I'm going to look at is in the base of that. You can see it's ceramic in there, and it's been pushed in. We want to make sure that that's not chipped. So if we look at that one as well, they're actually different. So we want to make sure that in there is not chipped. So you're going to need a decent light, and you're going to have to look in there and make sure that there's no cracking in that, because if there's any cracking, it's not going to spray out properly. And the next thing you want to look at is the ceramic on here, and make sure that that's not chipped as well. If that's sitting in there and you drop the nozzle, you can actually chip those ceramics. Then you want to have a look in the back here. All of these little holes, you want to make sure that they're not blocked up with sand. So usually you don't, if there is sand, you don't want to push it in, because you'll push the sand into the center of the nozzle. So usually I use this and go in from the front. If I can get it in, yep. And then I'll try and, if there's sand in there, I'll try and push it out the back if I can get like that, and push the sand out until it's all clear. Once it's all clear, you want to hold it up to the light and make sure that you can see through it. And there's also an O-ring and a spinner on there. Make sure that spins clear as well. Sometimes I've seen these full of sand. The other thing you want to do is check your jets with a tip cleaner and make sure that they're all of them, whether you've got 5 or 3 rear jets, they're all clear. And then you want to also check that inlet hole there, make sure there's no debris inside that hole, because what happens with this nozzle is the water will come in through the center, it'll come out through that hole in a conical fashion, and what happens is the spindle sits inside there, and as the water comes out, it pushes it forward, which when it pushes it forward to seal on the end. So if there's any sand in the end, the water can't get through the center, it'll go around the outside, and then you won't be getting it sprayed properly, and that will spin in there as well. So that's basically what I'm checking when I'm looking at these, making sure they're all clear. That one's clear. No chips on there, no chips on the end of there, making sure that spins, and making sure that the whole thing is clear as well. And that little section there should be a little bit pronounced. Sometimes you'll see those are worn over. And for reassembly, you just put that in sideways and make sure that that's sitting in the end, and then just sit that on sideways like so, and screw that back on, and kind of hold it upside down a little bit as you do that last bit. And then once it's tight, just make sure it rattles. and that's it. Then you can test it up and see if it's working again. The same thing applies for this one, it's just a different kit, that's all. This one doesn't actually spin like the other one, but it's still got the ceramics there, the ceramics on the other side. And then the holes in the back are a little bit different. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're going to change the kit on one of these, what you end up doing is take that off, take that out. You want to knock that out, so if you can find a punch that's about the right size, knock that out, and then you'll get a spare O-ring as well. So the kit would either come with that and the O-ring, or same thing, this one in here, that and the O-ring. And then to get this one in, you don't want to damage it, so you want to make sure that that's a clean surface, because that and that is going to run around there and it needs to seal. So we've made up this for putting it back in, but you can use something else. This is quite good, you just sit it in there and then just push all the way home. So that needs to seal in around there as well, because water will always try and find the easiest way to get through. So if that O-ring's damaged at all, the water will go around there rather than try and go through the center. So that one onto there, push it home, that one back in, and then that one back in as well. Just make sure it's sitting in its center, just so you don't squish it as you go in. And so no ring sealing that one, so it doesn't have to be super tight. That's it, test it up, and hopefully that will sort the problem out if it's not spinning properly. Just the other thing with these nozzles as well, you can see the spindle moves a little bit in there. So because this is a forward cutting turbine, when you put it into the drain, if you're not pressurized, then there's a bit of movement in there, and if the drain's full of sand, you can actually get sand inside the nozzle. And then when you open the ball valve and pressurize it, the spindle will push forward and the sand will go, oh, how do I get out? Because it's stuck inside. So that's when the sand will try and go through the center of the spindle. And because the turbine on this is only quite small, it can easily block that jet or block the back. So best for this is to try and clear a meter of drain first before you put it in, and once you get it in, just keep it on, keep it powering on, and then that way, I've even seen some guys grab a little piece of tape if they've got a drain that's full of sand, and they'll just stick a piece of tape over the front, and that way that's going to stop the sand getting in. They'll push it as far in as they go, then open the ball valve, and that will just blow that tape off to stop sand getting in the front. So hopefully that will help you either fix one of these yourself or diagnose one and see if you can get it working again. Sometimes you have to change the kit, sometimes you can fix them and get away with it. Okay.